Hey guys, how is everybody? Look at that, got a bunch of people in the chat already. That's awesome. Doug Taylor, Sawyer, Ben, Eric Counts, how are you? Hey Greg, what's going on, fellas? Thanks for tuning in tonight. Well, tonight I'm just going to be hanging out here with my pal Henry Pym. There's Lawrence. And you guys, we'll just talk about whatever's on your mind coming up for this season. Sawyer says, feel a little energized silly today. The heat has gone to my head. Yes, Joe, I am in the bunker today. More for a convenience thing than anything. I just came home a little early instead of hanging out at the store for an hour waiting for the podcast to start. Hey, John, it's the bunker night, so the lights will stay on. Yes, and the wife knows I'm here in the bunker, so she's not going to disturb me. I tried to get her to come onto the podcast with me tonight, but she didn't want to. Hey, Ricky. Is everybody getting ready for the first regional? Got coming up here. It's only about a month away. I hope you guys are ready. Hey, Howard. I think it's going to be a big one. It's June 17th. June 17th. Holy cow, how'd I get that? June 27th. Sorry, guys. Wow. June 27th will be the regional. June 28th will be the OP Cup. Yep, looking off here, checking out. See me looking off to the side. That's just me checking out my schedule that I opened up. Hey, Charlie, how are you? I don't know that we're going to have the attendance that we had last year, as I hear most of the Seattle guys will not be attending. Hopefully some of them will surprise me. Hey, John. Got into the 90s in Boston today, huh? I'm not ready for summer either. Moved to Newfoundland. Oh my goodness, is it that bad? I think it was 87 when I checked this afternoon here in Ohio. I kind of like it. Sawyer says, I'm looking forward to it, but I think I'm going to have to drive in Saturday morning rather than Friday. Whoa, Sawyer, that'll be rough. Joe says, going to wait 3 to 4 more weeks before I start play testing. I don't believe you for a minute, Joe. I think you're already play testing for whatever the next event is that you will play. Hey, Marcus, how are you, buddy? How's everything up there in Michigan? All right? Sawyer says, make sure to build your deck the morning of. I'm trying to avoid that, Sawyer. I'm not saying that it won't happen, but that is not the plan right now. We're play testing a lot. We're doing every Tuesday, a little bit on Fridays. The guys are wanting to do more legacy stuff on Friday. And then on Saturday, Jessica and Nor and I hung out for a little while, playing a lot of games. So we are working hard at it. John says, anything over 75 is uncomfortable for me, so this is the beginning of 4 or 5 months of misery. I'm sorry, John. I like anything above 70. It's down below 70. I know it's sweatshirt weather then, but I like it warm. I hope you guys are getting in lots of games, because we sure are. I know they're play testing pretty hard up there in Seattle. I hear some guys in Pennsylvania are play testing quite a bit too. They plan to show up at that regional and make some noise, win some games. I know Ricky's always playing, Justin, Lawrence. Lawrence, are you going to be there? I can't remember what you said. I think you're coming, right? These guys from Michigan with the first NAOL squad, they'll probably come down, right? Hey, Andy, get them in where I can. Yep, get in as many as you can. John says, I guess I can find joy in building new Invisible Man decks with the new cost. John, I just don't know. I've looked and looked and looked at Invisible Man. And it's even with the 16 points, I don't know. Doug says Seattle has been mostly league stuff. But your league is all modern, right? Oh, no, you guys switch it up a little up there, don't you, Doug? John says, unless it's really windy, anything over 30 is t-shirt weather for me. You're brave. Lawrence says, I'll be there. Wouldn't miss it. Awesome. Love to hear it. Hey, there's the goof. How are you, buddy? Did you guys see the video I put up yesterday where we opened the packs and we opened a rebirth pack? That was actually the first time I'd ever opened a rebirth pack. It was pretty cool. Well, I didn't open it, nor did, but it was nice. We had fun with that one. Goof says, I decided to put my soapbox away and come say hello. Doug says they're playing modern but themed. I like it. Goof, what soapbox were you on? Were you on in Facebook today on the soapbox? I have not had a chance to look at Facebook all day today. Today was the first day we could sell the new Pokemon set, and we were just swamped all day. So I didn't get a whole lot done that I wanted to. Goof says, yeah, that rebirth was really interesting. Never seen one before. I would like to know if anybody's got any. I would buy some just to open them up. That was fun. Sawyer says, that was so cool. I love the clear card. Yeah, Jessica instantly claimed that one. What? Joe Peters? I said, I hadn't seen Rebirth open before. What? All right, I guess it was pretty special then, right? Joe hasn't seen one open. I don't know anyone that's got any. That reminds me, I know Larry sent me a message about it. I don't remember.
Brad's exceptional creative leadership and game experience and operations.
Stop that. Got to see what Larry was saying. Larry says that my understanding was only one clear Beyonder from the Rebirth set. It was in one of the 3 boxes that were sold at the Rebirth Reveal Tourney in Toronto. 2 of the boxes were opened with no clear Beyonder. I still have the 3rd unopened box with the clear Beyonder. Hope that helps. Wow, that's pretty cool. I have no idea what something like that would sell for, right? Doug says, that pack looks sweet. Yeah, it was really nice. I kind of like some of the things the Rebirth guys were trying to do. They kind of cleaned up the activators a little bit, got rid of the icons. I think they changed some of the wording around on some of the cards to make ones that were specifically against activators or specifically against any characters to be either one. But I can't remember what all they had done. Larry says, I have purchased a couple thousand opened Rebirth cards. There were many clear activators, but no Beyonder. I gave most of the clear activators away at Valhalla 4 in Seattle as an entry gift. Wow, that's nice. Goof said, Discord soapboxes. Facebook, I've been pleasant. What's going on in the Discord? You know, I don't go on there very much. Sawyer says, I really want an extra Kickstarter pack to open up and play events with. I'm surprised you guys opened one. Goof says, I got a couple new videos uploaded, commentary on yesterday's match, plus a battle site explainer. Hey, Angel, is that Angel? Angela? How are you? Hey, Josh, how are you, buddy? And James, look at that. James says, I got a ton of rebirth driving. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, James. Josh says, I've got one of those clear activators from my favorite activator, Storm. And James says, you can still buy boxes of rebirth. Message me that, James. Don't put it here in the chat, because I know that could cause some troubles. Hey, the goat has joined the chat. How you doing, Marcel? Howard says, you can still buy rebirth from the McGlynn's if you really want some. Ty has the original art for the rebirth morph activator. Oh, nice. All right. I'll reach out to Dan and see what he's got. That would be fun. We'll open a box on stream or something, maybe. John says, good. Are you trying to make Discord live up to the meaning of its name? Yeah, Goof, what are you getting on about in the Discord? Let us know. Josh, you still planning on coming up in June? I hope you can make it with your moving and everything. Right now, we're 2 tournaments into the season. Man, it's going by so fast already. Marcel says, I have the original art for the Beyonder activator of Rebirth. Interesting, Marcel. Is it true what Larry says? There's only one Beyonder, and he thinks he has the box for it? So after June, the June regional, the next one will be in July, right? Yeah, the Canadian regional and Peace Bridge, July 31st and August 1st. Ever since we got back from Houston, the legacy format is just about all Nora wants to talk about. All he wants to do is build decks for the legacy version. So he's been doing that a lot. He has tinkered with the modern a little bit. He's got some nice ideas for Columbus. I think he's going to have some fun. I think he's going to win a lot of games. I know on Facebook today we were talking a little bit. Scott Flint and I were going back a little, and that's about all I read on Facebook. But so proud of my kids and how good of players they become, deck builders too. Corey got a top 5 finish, nor top 3 in Houston, and I really thought that would make Corey want to play more legacy stuff, but it didn't. He really, I think, is still hooked on the modern. Marcel, it is true. I got one of those 2 other boxes. I have it opened in my collection. Wow. I wonder why they'd only make one of it. I mean, I understand rarity, but wow. And the goose says, bah ha ha, feels like it. I keep saying getting some official news would be really helpful because everywhere I go, I can't get stores to even pre-order Skybound. So many gamers don't know about Overpower at all. Yeah, the distributors are saying August 5th, which is a Wednesday. Had a couple chats with Felipe. We're not sure about. He's obviously not going to say a firm date on the Few and Cursed, which I don't blame him at all. I wouldn't either. But man, I really want to see the Few and Cursed set out. I would love to see it by the June regional, but I don't think that's going to happen. We'll be lucky if we get it sometime in July. Things just don't move fast enough for us, right? We would like everything to move a whole lot faster than it does. I don't know if we can get it there or not. Skybound August 5th. What's that put us? The weekend after the Peace Bridge. I know last week they put on Facebook that they're going to be at Gen Con. They're going to be doing demos all 4 days. A lot of demos going on. I don't know who's going to be there doing demos, but James is going to be directing it. And he had, I think, 40 events scheduled over the 4 days. So that'll be good. When he announced that, he did drop a little bit of a spoiler when he says, if you think that's great, just wait till you see what we have planned for San Diego Comic-Con. And I know that's going to be big. I don't even know when San Diego Comic-Con is. I should have put that on my schedule. Does anybody know offhand? I'll just pull it up real quick. It's I don't know if anybody's planning to go to San Diego. I know Jessica wanted to. I don't know if she plans to. Looks like July 23rd through the 26th. I gotta put that on my schedule here. July 23rd. What? No, that can't be, can it? Wow. Guys, I'm just going to be honest with you. I know what James is trying to pull off at San Diego, July 23rd through the 26th. And, Raven, you got the wrong month. Yeah, there you go. If they pull it off, it's going to be huge. You guys, Goof, just let me tell you, there's a lot of big news coming. And I think things are going to turn around real quick about getting some stores to sign up. I was supposed to go in today and sign up for Top Deck with an official account today. I forgot. I got to make sure I get that done tomorrow. Let me catch up with the chat real quick. James says, Rebirth, a fun open one clear card per pack, and they would collect. We did get one clear card in that pack, so maybe, okay. Then a rare card I need, but in packs it was an event unique. Yeah, just drive, James. we'll talk when you're not driving. Who says LRG keeps saying they have a plan. They're keeping it quiet, and having Skybound in Walmart and booking a set 2 years away should make us happy. I hadn't heard anything about Skybound in Walmart, Goof. Is that right? When did that pop up? Andy says, really liked that build from Corey I saw last Tuesday. Not going to tell, though. Yeah, Andy. Yeah, don't be... We won't tell your decks. You don't tell ours. I'll tell you what, guys. You better watch out for Andy at that regional. That's all I'm going to say. Marcel says, rumor is there will be a secret metal card released in the Few and Cursed Kickstarter. Marcel as the redhead, says Andy. That would be hilarious. I had not heard about a secret metal card released in the Few and Cursed Kickstarter. That would be fun. John says, go to your local shop and play in public. Get people to see the game and teach interested players. The game needs local store champions. Unfortunately, John, it does. That is basically what it takes. It's not easy to get into shops, guys. There are so many games out there right now. If I wasn't a fan and player of Overpower, it would be hard for Overpower to get into my store. There's just, Bandai has 5 or 6 games now, not including Union Arena. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, Flesh and Blood. Spirit Forge, Riftbound, Lorcana. There's just so many games. There's only so much shelf space. But, like I said, they've got some big plans. I think they're going to make some moves. I plan to do what I can here in Columbus. I'm going to have a really big Learn to Play day as soon as I get a release date for Few and Cursed, because I want to use those decks to do it. We'll do what we can here. I know Stefan, the Flying Monkey store, not too awfully far from us, probably 45 minutes. He's all in. So Central Ohio is going to be big. And if James pulls it off, San Diego Comic-Con, it's going to be a game changer. So don't be too down. Things are going to change dramatically in another 30 to 60 days. I'll just say 30 to 60 to be safe. If they want to do something at San Diego Comic-Con, they've got to announce it in time for guys to get tickets, right? So I don't think it's going to be a last-minute announcement. Sawyer says, I think we want to know more how to coordinate with being supportive of LRG. Most people we talk to, especially stores, think it's a game that will die out. And a lot of games do die out, so I understand why stores feel that way. But Invincible is going to bring some players in, and then hopefully we can grow the game from there. Kus has been doing that for months. Whoops. Oh, sorry guys, it just jumped on me. Adam and I have been to multiple stores, but no one wants to order anything. They can't even guarantee whether I can do a pre-order. Well, that really stinks. Why wouldn't they let you do a pre-order? It's not like it's gonna be hard to get. Stores tell me that it's a niche product. I can tell them otherwise, but I'm just one schlub. We have zero resources from LRG that would collaborate my story. Yeah, we really need those in-store kits so that stores can put up some decorations. Lauren says, I had a small breakthrough with my LGS today. They ordered a bunch of play mats we didn't order because they looked so good, and now they are considering carrying extra product we didn't order. That's awesome. I need to check. Andy says, Doug, you tease. I do tease because I'm not allowed to tell you the whole story. Hey, Merlin, how are you? Can't wait to see what's coming. There's a lot. Howard says, our local store has already pre-ordered a bunch of boxes of Skybound. Hopefully Canon gets the product in a timely fashion this time. That's going to be huge, but I don't think it's going to be a problem because I think they got a distributor up there now. But you never know. Raven says, they keep teasing the in-store program. I'm trying to be patient and find out what it is before hitting stores, but it's really frustrating. Yeah, I know. Marcel says, if not Howard, I will storm the castle again. Go get him, Marcel. King31, how are you? Never give up. My store has loads of card games. I've been trying for over a year and have 5 active players. Give it time and show the game off. Yep. Hey, Stefan, did you get your Invincible Overpower postcard in the mail? I did not. What? What are you talking about? Howard says, I expect to have a very pleasant surprise for everyone at Peace Bridge. Ricky says, Bo Jackson's Overpower announced in San Diego. Man, that would be sweet. That would be a dream come true, Ricky. I would love it. The King says, showing off my Invincible cards has caught players' attention. Yeah, I think it will. James says, my store can't get LRG to return an email. They are ordering 18 boxes. Man, I hate to hear that, James. That's the absolute worst. There's no return of emails. It's just awful. Marcel says, don't take offense, Doug. However, it's been a lot of overpromise and underperform when it comes to LRG and Overpower. They truly have yet to make that splash I have wanted to see. No offense taken, because you are absolutely 100% correct. And I can't talk it up too much, because if they don't pull it off, then it's going to be another deflating experience, right? Yeah, sheesh. I hope they pull it off. If they pull it off, it'll be huge. It'll be huge for a lot of reasons. Hey, Yusuf, how are you? Goof has been doing great work putting out tutorials and videos. I wish those were out 6 months ago when I was looking into Overpower. Yeah, Yusuf, you just got to move to Columbus. That's all. I mean, you're only, an hour and a half away. Not much of a move. John says, getting the retailer marketing kit at the release date instead of a month early is a marketing mistake. John, that would probably be their biggest mistake if they wait until release date. They literally should have had it sent out already. And Joe and Ron know where I stand on that. I would have put it up 6 months ago. Goof says, I bring it up to LRG and they accuse me of wanting to make decisions. They expect to magically do some con panel and we'll have 10 million players all of a sudden. There's a lot there, Goof. I hate to hear that, but I know it's their game. They got to do it the way they want to do it. And if they don't do it their way, they just have to do it their way. And I understand we want to give them advice and say, well, we like to do this, we like to do that, we think you should do this. But in the end, they're the ones responsible for the game and how the money's spent. So I totally understand them not listening to us very much. But I also think there are some people that they're not listening to that maybe they should. Howard says, I love the battle site tutorial. I haven't been able to watch that yet. I can't wait. Goose says, yet I asked multiple stores to order. They say they'll talk to the distributor but can't guarantee anything until a week or two till release. By that point, I lose pre-order pricing and may get 0 boxes. Hey, Simpson, how are you? Stefan says, pics coming to your phone. Goose says, I'm just scared that this is going to turn into a I told you so situation. If they don't want feedback and don't want to put out any news, so be it. I'll just make videos. I don't know how much feedback they really want. They're hard at work. They're doing things their way, and in the end, they're responsible for everything that happens with the game. So I understand them not seeking advice outside of their sphere of influence. It just they got to be responsible, and if they take what they say, too many chefs spoils the stew. So they'll be doing what they're going to do, and they'll be going full bore into it. And man, I don't want to be too overly positive, but I don't want to be negative either, because I think Invincible has a chance to bring in a lot of players. I don't think it'll be 1 million players. I don't think it'll be 10,000 players. Can it bring in 1,000? Maybe. It can definitely bring in 10,000 collectors, I think, right? I'm fiending to get my hands on the Few and Curse sets. I already have a deck in my head, depending on specials. Yeah, I'm pretty anxious to see the Few and Curse too. I can't wait to see where all the characters end up at stat-wise, and I want to see the specials. Felipe has not spoiled anything to me, so I know no more about the Few and Curse than anybody else. But I love the redhead character, and I can't wait to see what he does with it. It should not be too much longer. I was bugging him about it yesterday and asking him how soon he'll be able to give me a firm delivery date. And unfortunately, he said he's not really doing a whole lot in the fulfillment. That's LRG. And they will be handling all that. So he doesn't really know what the fulfillment day is going to be. But we shall see. Maybe they'll actually announce a date soon. Not too soon. Sometime in June, right? That would be good if they announce a fulfillment date and actually hit it. And he says, honestly, it feels like you've been taking a nice, even-handed perspective in this. Thank you, Andy. Merlin says, bring in the collectors so long as our collections increase in value. I appreciate that. Thanks, Andy. I can't wait to play with my shiny metal character cards. Yes. I love that Felipe took a chance on the metal cards and said, hey, let's do this and see what the people say. And they overwhelmingly loved the idea. So now when we have another Kickstarter, our expectations are going to be even higher. And I think the next Kickstarter will be even better than this last one. I don't know. Am I always looking at the glass half full? Maybe. Goof says, Andy had a great idea earlier. Potentially many people are going to be getting into Legacy Golden, hopefully. I'd love to see people create a few pre-made battle sites for a new player to try cheaply. Gee, Andy, where'd you get that idea? Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure I want to introduce the new players to the Legacy format, guys. I think it's too much. Let's let them just enjoy the modern game for a little while. And then they can ask about the Legacy and we can slowly bring them in. I think Yusuf is probably the one we brought into the Legacy game the fastest as far as times played. Jessica and Nort moved in pretty quick too. But man, those cards are just so hard to get. That's why I don't like to bring up the Legacy game to new players as much. But I tell you what, they do get excited when they see them. We had a guy in the store who got excited when he saw the promo card for the OP Cup, and he's going to make sure he's ready to play in it. Howard says, LRG could help themselves so much by just improving their communication strategy. 100%. The entire ecosystem needs care and feeding, and unfortunately, it's not one of their strengths. I think they're just spread out so thin that nobody's making it a priority, and they should be. Steve, I don't think anyone from the Gamer's Edge would mind me saying we got our Airbnb today, and at least myself, Robin, and Anthony will be there. That's awesome. That's great. They're being Columbus. Yep. That's going to be amazing. John says, Doug needs a metal AOA battle site. I would love that tremendously. I don't get to play in the OP Cup because I'm going to be running it. But when I come to Boston, John, I may not actually be playing Age of Apocalypse Battle Site. Just saying. And Doug Taylor says, I agree, Doug. Well, thank you. My daughter is learning to play, and I won't introduce her to Legacy for a while. Good. Doug says, I love the Legacy game more as well, but it's an awful lot for new players. Overwhelming. Not only is it overwhelming to learn, but it's almost impossible to build a collection at this point, right? Because it's also expensive. John says, because of card availability, new players, what's that? Should start with Modern. Yep. You get everything you need from Modern fairly inexpensively, especially after the Few and Cursed comes out and the Grim Reaper is easy to get. And he says, yeah, I agree about Legacy Golden. I briefly thought about trying to make the OP Cup last year, and I'm glad I held off on it. I got a foundation in Modern first, and that helped so much. I agree, Andy. It did help doing that, and you're going to be ready for the OP Cup this year. So I just think don't rush people. Hey, Joey, how are you? Just start with 3 stats and KO rules, and then move them up naturally. Oh, man. 100% agree, Howard. Didn't they announce they have a marketing guy now? Doug, I think they had a marketing guy all along, but they just made him full-time. Isn't that the guy that was just on a podcast last week? I can't remember the name of the podcast. What was the guy? I don't even remember the guy's name now. Oh my gosh. Lance or Larry? I don't know. But we'll see how the marketing progresses. Yusuf is asking, when is there going to be a World Legends battle site? Never. And he says, once I started diving into Legacy, I had a much better grasp of how I wanted to build. Joe says, I got my flight and hotel booked for Columbus, so we will have at least one Seattle player. That's awesome, Joe. Can't wait to see you. I got a feeling maybe we can talk Thomas into coming, right? Doug and Andrew seem to be, I think Andrew said there's no way he can get away that weekend. It's just a bad weekend for him. And he says, yes, there is a marketing lead now. John says, LRG needs a few bodies tasked with customer communication and returning store calls. And initiating store calls too, maybe, John. Goof says, I forgot if they decided whether they would actually make an ERB battle site to include in the Kickstarter or if they just won't have one. I don't believe we're ever going to see... At this point, there's no plans for a battle site as far as I know. Goof says, Merlin says, not running AOA? Who is the person on the screen? Are you surely not Doug Sims? You are surely not Doug Sims. I know, I'm just looking at some new stuff. Ricky says, Legacy just costs paper and ink. It does, but you got to remember time. And yeah, you could build a deck fairly inexpensively if all you want to do is print and play. But like Andy was saying, pre-built battle sites. John says, I'll believe you're not bringing AOA to my event about an hour after I see it. All right. I'm not committing 100% to that, but I'm considering it heavily. I've been talking with Nor. He's been a bad influence on me. Stefan says, the Legacy is expensive. How much does Spawn cost? Well, Spawn's 9 or less avoids are expensive, right? 10 or 12 bucks a piece. You need 3 of them. Spawn character. I should look. All right. Stefan just sent me a postcard that he got in the mail. Did you just get that today? It is a promotional card for Invincible. It says pre-order now. Skybound Overpower card game. It's got Invincible on it. And it was sent to his store, Flying Monkey Comics and Games. Wonder where they got the mailing address list from. That's pretty cool. Alright. Now let's go see how much Larry's selling this for. It's just everything is expensive that's good, right? Whoa. Sentinel Sword. Spawn Hero, $60. Heavy Weapons, $9.50. The four, that's just the 7 strength card. The 4 multi, $4 each. Finite Power for $1.50. Protector of the Innocent, $30 a piece, and he only has 3. And that's the problem. Even if it was a little more inexpensive, nobody's got inventory. Luke Fletcher, creative director. Oh, okay, so he wasn't the marketing guy. He's the creative director. All right, so now they've got Luke and got a creative director and a marketing guy. Joey says, lots of cheap 3-stat original starter decks still out there. Boy, there sure are. Then teach the Venture. Then teach 4 stats with Venture, and so on, step by step. Which is fine if they're not buying those cards. If they're just learning, it's not a dollar investment, it's just a time investment, that's fine. But if you're making them buy a 3-stat starter, and then you teach them Venture, and then you teach them the 4-stat characters, they're basically buying into the game twice, and then they buy again a third time in the Modern. It could add up. Andy says, Stefan, Legacy can proxy, but for Golden Spawn is 60. Well, that's true, Andy, except there is no Golden right now. So, don't have to worry about that. It's just NALL for the Legacy. Ricky says, Goof, you mean Battleground, don't you? What? Did I miss something from the Goof? What it is? Scroll back up real quick. Oh, yeah. You're right, Ricky. I think he is meaning the Battleground, which the Battleground is just going to tell which suite of any characters you're using, right? Doug says, kids today don't have printers, Ricky. Is that true? That straight. Why wouldn't they have printers at home? Don't they ever print out anything for school? And Andy says $60, not including his specials. Yep. Raven, how do you convince a store to host a print and play game? You probably don't. I would say you absolutely, probably 100% will never convince a store to do that. Stefan says, it was last week sometime. Brian said, Raven, don't start with that. Start with Modern. Yep. Hey, Andrew, how are you? D&D night. Peace out, y'all. Didn't even know you were in, Andrew. See you later. Goose says, yep, that's what I did mean, Ricky. Malabolgia is the expensive one. He is, but he's also not playable, so you don't have to worry about having to buy that one. Goose says, I'm actually creating a new player introduction idea right now. It's using Doug Taylor's tested method, same as I have in my training vids. John says, I should be less lazy and sell off my extra cards. I have a lot of Image and X-Men. Well, you got some money sitting there. Goose says, I want people to have a 1-page back and front insert that lets them play the basic deck with power cards and a couple specials. James says, hit me up, John. I have tons of those. Goose says, I got it written out, and I think someone with 0 overpower experience could read it and get themselves started. I'm going to polish it, and then I'm going to work on the Game 2 set, which introduces a couple more mechanics. And he says, I definitely don't have a printer. I just go to the library to do my proxies. Interesting. John says, it's very true. Under 25, you probably don't own a printer. Ricky says, they can't print the modern cards, so got to buy those at least. John says, one-man army is the hardest to get. Yes. That one is incredibly hard to get, for sure. The hardest? I don't know. There's a lot of really hard ones in Image. But why don't people under 25 have printers? Is everything just on the cloud? I'm showing my age right now, right? Jessica's probably just sitting at home rolling her eyes at me. Goose says, basically LRG has said they'll have training materials, but it will likely be the full modern game in one go, and that's hard to learn. Hey, Sean, how are you? Can you just draw your own proxies? Oh. And John says, one-man army is the hardest in Image. Maybe. I like that idea, Sean, just drawing our own proxies. The NAOL is not too strict on that, right? He says, I'd like to have resources out there so that a new player would have a very easy experience to get the basics. No mentor needed. Goof, I don't know that there's any game that's got something like that, is there? I mean, you usually need somebody to sit down and explain things to you. I know we just did a Journey TCG Learn to Play last week, and even though it didn't look complicated, I'm not sure most players would sit down by themselves to learn to play. James says, my kids never need to print, they just do all their schoolwork online these days. Okay. John says, you just file share everything now, even for schoolwork. Wow. I mean, I don't have any kids. My kids are all out of school. The grandkids are there, but I don't know. Marcus says, the game is hard to learn, easy to play, difficult to master. Yep. This has been said by all of our squad members, and I 100% agree. John says, accidental inserts from Classic are probably the hardest to get in the entire game. You know what might be even harder, John? The top 8 NAOL promos, foil promos. There's only 8 of them given out at an event. There will be, I believe, 9 more given out to the host of all the NAOL events. 9 and 8. 17 total cards, I think. I could be wrong. Hey, Keith, how are you? Keith says, well said, Marcus. Ricky says, they should just reprint all the legacy cards, but do it like they are with that new ally card, Psychic Dog. John says, any TCG with more than a 3-page rulebook needs teaching resources. Marcus says, gotta keep it real, Keith. You know, I think just today, Marvel announced a big shakeup. Dan Buckley is leaving Marvel. He's been there running it for a very long time. I think he's going to be there for about another 6 or 8 months, and then he's moving out. And we'll see who they bring in after to replace him. I didn't recognize the name, but we'll see how that looks. But I also heard another rumor, which is huge. This is a huge rumor. So just so you know, I'm definitely 100% spreading a rumor right now. Skybound, Kirkman may try to license some of the Marvel characters and publish the titles himself. So, could you imagine Spider-Man being a Skybound comic book instead of a Marvel comic? No. That being said, that's just pure rumor. So, John says, I think you will be right about the difficulty of getting our NAOL promos. I'm looking forward to seeing them in the flesh. King says tinfoil hat time. Yep, it is. Marvel under Image. Again, kind of. Reiki says, have you all watched Overpower How to Play from Triple S Games on YouTube? That's usually what I send to people for Modern. I've never heard of Triple S Games, so I have not seen that video. Merlin says, Spider-Man does have a cameo in one of the Invincible stories. And Marvel Team Up number 14, was that printed by Image or Marvel? I don't know. That they crossed over there. And Goose says that the Triple S Games, that's the LRG promoted one. And he says, Ricky, I've heard that one is super overwhelming. Oh, really? Goose says it's good, but it's a lot. I've trained people by doing the most basic skirmish battle without dupes and placing for their first game. Ricky says it is overwhelming, but covers it all in one video. Wow. Andy says, been thinking of doing a combat video, but man, it takes so much effort to make a good video. Yeah, it's not easy, or everybody be doing it, Andy. The Goof says, second game gets more topics, more maybe conceding. Yeah, it's just, you got to bring them along slowly. King says, Spider-Man, Batman, and others had crossovers during the Invincible War arc. Batman was in Invincible War? Interesting. Wasn't aware of that one. I lost my train of thought. Oh, well. Oh, yeah, I know what. We'll check with Howard. He may let me display some of the NAOL promos during the regional and the OP Cup. I don't know. Doug Taylor says, the game is very hard to easily and quickly teach. The problem I have with teaching it is there's no absolute step-by-step, because every time I would show them, try to do step-by-step, I would always say, oh, I forgot to tell you this, and then have to go backwards. I've not seen any step-by-step that covers everything completely. And if you did, I think it would just be too overwhelming. Andy says, maybe that was just the Invincible guy who's basically Batman? I don't know. James says, Savage Dragon crossed over and he's coming with Top Cow, so maybe that could be a teamwork promo between the sets. Marcus says, easy teaching is in group multiplayer skirmish mode. Most learn to play this way and much easier to learn together. Yeah. You also need people to not be afraid to ask questions. John says, set up a board with 2 teams, cards already placed on the characters, have a new player draw 8-card hand, then walk them through the combat, then add extra info going forward. Q says, I'm making a series of step-by-step guides right now. Well, I'll be interested to see them when you get them done, Goof. Absolutely would. Ricky says, that's the Triple S one, Doug. Why, it's overwhelming. They really did do it step by step. I mean, and to do it step by step and you include everything, I don't know why anybody would want to learn to play the game, especially without our Marvel characters, right? James says, yeah, multiplayer skirmish with a 5th guy that can walk around and help is awesome. Howard says, gotta go. Have a great evening, everyone. Put your squads together and join the NOL Legacy Mixed Organized Play Network. Have a good night, Howard. He says, I'll share them soon. Maybe they'll be helpful. I'm sure they will. Merlin says, okay, I need to catch you guys later. Well, thanks for tuning in, Merlin. We'll talk soon. And actually, it looks like that's going to be a good time for me to bail out, too. King says, Batman had actually appeared as a cameo character in issue 33 in the Invincible comic series, which I thought you were stronger adapts. Because of legal issues, he was replaced with the Cape Vigilante. Okay? Nice. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see what's going on next week. I think we'll have a guest host on with me next week, but we'll see how it works out. You guys have a great week. We'll see you all soon.